All right, we got everything set up. I think everything is working as intended, so we are just going to hope that everything continues to work. We are going to spend this time first off because we had a viewer from last week's video or live stream, and they had some questions on their card. They wanted to know, is it worth grading? And I'm just trying to put on some gloves, so I'm not trying to hide anything from you guys. Apologize for the squeakiness. But yeah, so we're going to do first off a review of our live viewer cards. And then from there, we're going to go into a card that we didn't get to review last week, which is the Blastoise. Big man Blastoise right there. And I have a ton of cards I need to grade. Something that I recently found out, if you watch my channel, you probably know that, well, I guess with the video that went out, or I guess it went out on Monday this week. On the long form video on YouTube, I said that Tag is backed up like 3 to 5 weeks on their card reviews, and usually they're really fast. There's usually no problems with them, and I scheduled my cards to be graded by them because they're pretty inexpensive. I mean, they're still expensive from the fact of like it's like $20 to grade an individual card, or $25. And if you're doing a lot of cards at once and they're low value, it's not really necessarily worth it. But if you're looking at something and you're trying to figure out like what we're doing for this channel, we're going to submit them anyways. The cost is definitely worth it for us. The time frame is usually within 3 weeks, and we're definitely over that time frame. I think we're like 5 weeks in, and I emailed them and they told us they're saying like they're so backlogged that the cards that are in like the standard or in the bulk, those are like standard is what I paid for 5 of my cards, and that was $40 a piece, I believe. And they were saying that those cards in less will be extended by about 3 to 5 weeks because of their backlog. And then the cards that are like the premium ones that people paid like $60 or more are being backlogged by another 2 to 3 weeks. So hopefully we get those cards, because that last post I had out there today or this week for Pikachu is the last card where I can actually show the grade after I've done the review in the same video. And I really want to stay on that same kind of process, but unfortunately Tag is lacking a little bit. So we got, let me see here. We have a lot of cards. We have all these. Oh, I want to drop them. We'll see some Crown Zenith videos coming up soon, but we got quite a lot of cards. So we have the Giratina, right? We got a Boa. Boom. Boa. We got the secret rare Pikachu from Crown Zenith. Charizard, which we went to look at before. Oricorio, Celebrations Mew, Dark Arbok, Zapdos, and a Glaceon. And we got the Glaceon from also one of the Crown Zenith packs that we opened. So I'm hoping that it comes out pretty good, because I would like to be able to get some 10s if I can. Hi, honey. It's just me talking to myself right now. You're gonna. Oh, the small one? Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. All right. Love you. Bye. Oh, thank you. Okay. So the first thing let's go ahead and do is pull up the Discord channel real fast. So let's go on to full screen and myself. Pull up Discord. If you haven't joined my Discord already, please feel free to. If you go in here, you can see my videos get updated. I don't really do a lot with it today because the information in here is pretty, it's pretty minimal, like the volume of people that are in here. So, but what you can do is if you come in here, you can submit your cards and I'll look at them. I got an individual message from a person. Let me see if I can find them right here. And they asked me to review their card for them. They provided me a lot of questions, a lot of images. So let's break it down. It looks like they provided their own pictures. Sorry, I'm just not reading this for the first time. So let's look at this Charizard here. It's kind of hard to see. I wonder if that's sharing. But they did a scan of it themselves. I use edge grading. I think this is a really good way of how they pictured it. So it looks like and it's hard to see. So like right here, what they did is they have it on this edge and it's not exactly flat, but they put it into some kind of holder, which is really nice actually. They have it on this angle. This looks a little bit off, but this bottom angle and this bottom angle are on the corners. I say that's probably pretty accurate. I think those borders are aligned, and then these are aligned. So I think even though it's a little off, I still have the same thing happen with my cards as well. So this is perfectly fine. I think this is something that we can still look at. So they got 50-50 all the way through. So that's perfect alignment. You can't get any better than that. And then with tag or PSA, and I think they're looking at tag or BGS, and they can obviously see on the back here if they're trying to get like a black label or not. It falls outside of that category, which is really nice that it provides that. It gives them a 9.5. Unfortunately, you don't have 10s. Otherwise, that'd be worth it. PSA, though, probably worth it in this case. So it looks like, again, it's a little blurry here, but it looks like corner, a little off here. So this is definitely this inside border. You can see it's off, and it's actually not even hitting that corner properly. So this internal line is actually off by a little bit. This is also off on the interior, but it's not horrible because it is along that edge and that edge. So that's probably pretty accurate. This internal line is off completely. It looks like you can see that there's a little bit of the inside of the card interior wise on the outside of the interior edge. Does that make sense? We can see that it's a little bit off. So it's probably like 2% off on this side. And then it's not hitting exactly on that angle. So even though it is off, it's still a beautiful card. So what do they say? 4% off on the left and right, 6% off. It's probably more like 45, 55. Or sorry, it's probably more like 43%. So that's going to put you at 14%, which is still fine because PSA is within a 50% parameter. Tag is within a 30% parameter. So just off of this, I can't tell, but you did a pretty good job overall in the scanning. I would say this is still eligible for like a tag 10. Like I would still go for it for the centering. BGS I've never used before. And just from this scanning for what you put in here, I wouldn't do that, you know, because this is you giving yourself more of a benefit. This is actually off more than what you think. So actually, I'm sorry. No, it's probably better than what you scan. So this is probably closer to 50-50. It might be a BGS kind of card. Like that might be worth it. We have this picture here, which is really nice picture. Thank you for taking this. And let's see, how do I, oh, I can just click. Okay. As we're looking at the card, we want to look at a few things. Like first off, we're looking at the edge, and this is actually interesting. You can see this top edge. You see how it kind of like slides down and it goes from a thinner border all the way to a larger border. That is I don't know if it's a miscut necessarily, but the centering's off, and I don't know how they're actually going to manage that. It's really interesting that that is so severe. I've seen it off a little bit, but it's not horrible. But yeah, that top centering is definitely off. We also have a little indentation or a pinprick on this left side edge. So I think that's definitely, well, I don't know. I've had some cards where I've sent in and they don't even identify that edge. And I've had some where they do. So I think it's up in the air. That to me is very noticeable. And I feel like tag grading is going to notice this singular dot or this impression in the card. And because of the fact that it's on the front of the card, that means that it's most likely going to impact the grade. If this was on the back of the card, less likely, but and on the card it is. It looks like we have a dot here on the left side border. We also have a dot on that right side border, and that could easily just be dust particles. Like that could just be from you taking it out and putting out here. And if that's the case, then you just need to wipe those off. We have another thing down here that I can't see very well. It kind of looks like another small indentation. It could be kind of debris. I'm not sure. But based off of this on your card that you sent to me, we have this little dot here. We have a white speck that does look like debris. That's probably going to come off. This one probably going to come off as well. And then we have this little indentation, or it's like a pin needle kind of indentation to the card. So with all that said, I don't think that your card's going to come in at a tag 10, just because the front is the most crucial point. We have the centering that's a miscut across the top. I don't know how they're going to handle that, but they probably will take some points off for it. This right here is going to take it off. That potentially could, and that potentially could. And then we have this other little small dot that potentially could take it off as well. So with that said, let's look at your video that you sent me. I'm going to mute it. This is really hard to see. It's really cool that you sent me this with the black light, because this is exactly how I would do it too. But it's not something that I can really investigate much into. So I mean, this is great. Obviously, when we're looking at the front of the card, I'm looking at edges and corners, and I'm not seeing anything on your card that's standing out. So that's one. Let's exit out. Let's go to your other picture here. And if you're on the stream right now, thank you for coming in. I appreciate it. I'm on my Discord that I have for my community. Very, very small community, but you know, we're here. And I will, if you have cards you would like me to review on live streams, that's my point. That's what I'm trying to do here. Is trying to just look at them together, have a conversation. I'm not a grading expert, but I'm getting better at it one step at a time. And I can't tell if this is on top of the glass or underneath it, but if it's underneath the glass, this is definitely going to distort the UV rays from actually like me actually being able to get that reflection back. Back of the card looks clean just based off of this. I can't really tell much. Can't really tell much. It looks great though. And then this is the back of your card from a clean perspective with just underneath the glass. And again, you see how all this debris is kind of on the glass, and then you sent me that picture. Ideally, you want to clean that off completely and then take the picture, because I can't tell what's part of the card and what's not. It's like this like little piece right here. I can't even tell this on my monitor. Okay. This little piece right here, that could be part of the card. I don't know. It's most likely just part of the glass, but it is what it is. That looks like a smudge on the glass. I don't know. But the centering on this back looks phenomenal. Like you're definitely within gem mint area for tag and PSA for sure. I do see a little thing right here. If you look at this O on the bottom, I don't think this is part of the actual of the glass that you have on top. I think this is part of the card. And I can't really get much closer than that. So I apologize if you're looking. Excuse me. But it looks like there's some kind of damage, some kind of blemish on that O. And because it's on the back of the card, it's not going to be as big as a deficit to the actual score, but it is something that you can see with your naked eye. And that's really like the biggest thing that I like to look at for myself is you can get a black light. Like that's wonderful. It's super helpful. And you can go over the card, and that's just going to show up any whitening or silvering. But like things like this, like a blemish may not appear, but if you can see it with your naked eye, that's going to be more of a deficit to your actual score. So we see that for sure. So we have one blemish on the back. I think you're allowed for tag for surfaces. You can have no blemishes in the front, no errors at all in the surface edge, corners, nothing like that. But you can have up to 2 white spots, I believe, on the corners or edges for the back. So overall, with that, 1 blemish on the back, you have 1 point taken away there. On the front of the card coming back, we can see right here, there's a dot again. And then I think there actually might be another dot right there, actually, now I look at it. So we're at 3 and 1's on the front. So automatically not gem at 10. Centering is off, and then some other potential blemishes. So in my opinion, I would say that this is probably something that is not going to get a gem at 10. So that's my opinion on that. And then let's go ahead and look at your other card that you have. This is just the front. Do you have some super high-end cards? I don't have anything like that. The only thing I have is a tag 10 Charizard that I personally graded myself. So this is it. This is let me just go here. This is my bad boy, right? So I love this thing. I think it's amazing. I got a Phantom case for it because it's my first 10 I ever got. It's the first 10 I've ever graded, and I purposely hunted for this thing for months. Probably for 2 months. So I'm really happy that I was able to do that and finally get that. I'm really proud of it. But let's go back and let's check out Discord one more time. So this Victini, this is really difficult because it's a gradient of the same color. So it's really hard to see. And so what I would say, if you're asking me for my opinion on this, going off this image, I can't help you. I'm gonna be honest with you because it's not enough for me to play with. Like what you did with the Charizard was super helpful, give me a lot of information. I'm allowed to jump through it. But like you can see here as an example, like this border is off, right? So if we go over here, it is aligned with this edge. So that's right. That's perfect. The other thing is that on this, I don't know where that interior border is, but it looks like it's right there. I think you're on the right border. I think it might be up just a little bit more because it looks like the line is going right above your line. I believe so. So this might be a little bit off on your left and right. I think you also got it on the bottom. I think you did it because it's a little bit off the more we go up, but I think it looks right on the bottom portion. So it looks okay. You're a little bit high on the right side and you're a little bit low on the left side. So you just need to pick an edge and sit on it. But I mean, that's probably 1% off, which is probably 2% off in total. And then it looks like it's a little high on this inside border, but it might be right on this side. But you need to have it the same on top and bottom on whichever side you're using. So if you're going to use inside right on the line here, you can do that on the right side. You can't do top, outside, bottom, or left side, bottom, or something like that. You have to do both sides. You need to do here and here, make sure it's on both edge corners, and that'll be super helpful. But yeah, I mean, overall, this doesn't look bad. I'm sure this is within Gem Mint quality, like within that 10% for your Victini, for front centering at least. For surface and all that stuff, I can't really tell. That's part of the card, I'm assuming. But no, this is beautiful. You have such great cards. So I hope that was really helpful for you. Trying to figure out my macro buttons here, so bear with me. But yeah, with all that said, I think you did a really good job on the cards that you have. I think that the Charizard is a potential possible 9, in my opinion, if you go through tag. Now, if you go through PSA, it might get a 9 or a 10. I'm not 100% sure. If you go through Black Label, again, I've never, or BGS, to get a Black Label, I don't think you're going to get that there. But look at the items that I called out in the earlier part of the stream. Look at it and say, you know, are those blemishes that I called out actually on the card? And if they're not, don't just ignore everything I said. Submit it anyways. Find out. If it was me, I would submit it anyways, just because I'm curious. It's a very high value card, and the worst thing you're going to get is probably a 9. And you have a 9 Charizard. That's the same value as it is if you get it raw. And it's going to be encased and protected. And if you hold it, it's going to be worth more in the future later. It's kind of worth it to me, in my opinion. And tag slabs are so gorgeous. So like, I don't know if you have, if you've graded before. I'm pulling out of my Phantom case right now. But this is, well, I have a slab mag around my Charizard. But that's it. It's beautiful, very clear. I saw someone did something where they actually took like the white lettering and they turned it gold and made that tag pristine like look. And I think that's beautiful if they actually do it. I would love to see that. I'm gonna hunt for pristine. That'd be cool. Okay. With all that said, we are at the place to where we've reviewed everyone's cards that we need to. If you are on this now and you leave a comment or something like that, and you were watching this recording later, join the Discord channel. Put a comment in there with the card that you want me to review. If you leave a comment on the channel with a photo, I'm not going to view it. I'll tell you to go to Discord. So please just go to my Discord, join our general channel. I'll probably create a separate channel for card submissions where you can just submit them there. And then I'll be happy to review them on my next stream. But I'm not going to review them outside of that because I have normal work on Monday through Friday. So, and then I spend 4 hours a night editing. So yeah, it's something that I have to manage on my own. But let's go ahead and look at the overhead camera and Okay, so we have this, and I got a new arm for my camera. So I'm mainly allowed to like yank it down and keep the high quality imagery that I have here. And I think all this is good. You should be able to see the card just fine. We got the Blastoise. We've already got it scanned, right? We've already got it scanned. So let me see. Let's pull this back to the chat. I'm gonna pull up Blastoise. Okay, let's do the centering together. Let's do that centering together. So we're gonna do the screen and me. I gotta figure out these macro buttons. I'm figuring it out. We're going one step at a time here. So we have edgegridding.com. If it's something that you haven't seen my videos before, it's what I use all the time. It's free to use. I'm not affiliated with them in any way. I just found their website one day when I was going through trying to center my cards, and I found it. So what I do is I take my Epson printer. Oh, let me actually go ahead and make sure. I'm gonna record here. There we go. Too. I'm gonna do recording for this so I can use this as a video later. But what I'd like to go ahead and do is I take my card on my scanner, I scan it. I do leave it in the sleeve just like it is right now, and I just push it as far to the bottom as I can, and then try to make sure it's centered. If it's flat on the bottom, it's going to be straight up and down most likely. So it makes it easier for you to just have a flat angle so you don't have a lopsided card when you're taking an image. After I do that, I update him, or excuse me, move him over to my personal files. You drag it over. You get this little pop-up that comes up here. Oh, this is what edge grading looks like. I'm not a big fan of that label. That's kind of cool how they give you the actual grade, like a 9.83, but it's still gem mint. That's kind of cool. But yeah, that's the pop-up you get. I'm going to zoom in, control, zoom in. And then you can see here on the left and right, just like the cards we reviewed previously, you have the left and right and top and bottom. Now, the thing that I want to point out is the tolerances are actually at the bottom here. So as you play around with it, it'll tell you at the bottom if you do view grades. But the first thing we need to do is first off, make sure it's centered as possible. If it's not horrible, and that it may show up here. But what we're going to do is zoom in. We're going to align this pink line with this top inner border. And you can see, actually, this is a good example. It's a little bit off. It's not perfectly flat. So you can see how the line is showing a little bit of that outer border of the card a little bit. It's right on it. That's okay. It's just a little off angled. Now, what we need to do for this inner one is align it the same way. It's very important. So if I aligned it exactly to where it's like parallel to here, or it's parallel to that line, but it's meshing here and not here, you just need to pick a side. So on the left, we know this is right on that angle. We also want to make sure we're doing the same thing, which it looks like right there. It's right on that inner angle. So both of these are on the edge of their border, okay? And when you do that, even if it's a little off on that right side, you see how kind of the card is kind of angled down from when I scanned it, it's still, they're both off angled by the same amount. So it's perfectly fine. Now let's go ahead and do the same thing on all the edges. So right here, it's kind of hard to see. I hate that. Let's zoom out a little bit. Yeah. So in this case, we might want to align. Oof. All right. We might want to align that outside border. The outside border looks pretty good. And unfortunately, can't drag these up and down. You used to be able to do them, but they changed it. And that looks good there. Okay. So borders are fine. And we're going to do the exact. Oh, sorry. My mic just cut out. We're going to do the exact same thing on the bottom as well. Right there. It's hard to see because these are blocking those edges. So we're as close as we can be. We can't get it exactly, unfortunately. All right, we're doing the left side. And there's no edge on this bottom part that I can see. And this part right here is blocking it. So I'm going to go off the top. So I'm just going to scroll in right on that angle. Perfectly fine. We're a little off on that interior edge. So we're going to, unfortunately, gotta maneuver it a little bit. Okay, so we're still here. And that looks like it's on the edge. Perfect. So now we have it as close as we can. And wow, okay. We can see, like when you're looking at a card, right? When you get the card, you have it in your hand and you're just like, I need to see if this is centered. I'm not sure if I should grade this card or whatnot. It's really easy in this case to see that because Again, I'm going through tag grading. So the first thing I need to look at for a card, if I'm going to grade a card, is the centering. You're looking at the top and bottom, left and right. On this left and right, that right is fat. Like it is a thick boy. So you can obviously visually see there's a disparity between the right being thicker and the left being thinner. If you can visually see that, don't even try to buy the card if you're trying to grade it for a 10, because you're not going to get it. I purposely bought this card this way because it's centered, or it's heavily played, so I want to see if I can get the guess correctly. But if you're looking for a Gem Mint 10, you're definitely not going to get it with this card just off of this. Top and bottom look pretty close, not bad. So when we look at this on the left-hand side, PSA and tag have the front or the same tolerance for the front centering. It's 10%. And what that means is that left and right, if you subtract those two, it should be less than 10%. This is 20%, which is above that tolerance. So we already know this is outside of that. We're not going to get a 10. Top and bottom, do the same thing, subtract the two, 8% off. Now, you don't add them together, you keep them separate. The left and right's 20, the top and bottom is 8. So if the top and bottom is Gem Mint, but the left and right is not, and since one of them is off, it's both off. Like the card's just not quality for centering. So let's just do the view grade. Gives you this beautiful printout that you have here, and you also get this the grading at the bottom. So if you are doing the front of the card, just like I said, PSA has to be within 10%. Same with tag. Tag's not on here, but we can see it's a 9, just because that's off by 20%, 10% over. Okay. We're going to go ahead and save this image because I'm going to use it for a future recording. So we're going to go to my Blastoise folder. We're just going to call it Blastoise front graded. And then we're going to go ahead and click centering tool again. We're going to go back to our folder. We're going to grab the back of the card and use this image, wait for this beautiful pop-up to clear. We're going to look for a little X in the top right corner. This drink kind of sucks. Sorry, honey. Thank you for making it, but it's very salty. It's very salty. Okay, we're going to do the same thing on here. Pretty even centering on the outside, right? Oh, and you can see this is a good example again where it's a little off angled. Okay, so we just need to make sure it's on that inner center line, or that inner line, and you can see it's a little bit tilted. The card's a little bit tilted when we scanned it in. Let's go ahead and do the same thing on the right, and you don't have to get this exactly centered. Do your best. It'll be off by 4% at most. So this, it's a little off, but this inner line is on. We're going to do the same thing over here. And you can already see, look at this, like look at those edges, look at that whitening. So this is going to be a fun card review. Pretty excited about it. And if anyone's on here and they're watching right now and you're like, hey, I have a card, I'm not quite sure if it's centered or if it's good, if I should submit it or what, like go to my Discord, it's on my Instagram profile, join it. Send me a message on the general chat. Send me some images. Happy to look at it while I'm on this live stream. Otherwise, I'll save it for next week. Okay, same thing, viewing the card. Now, the difference with the centering on the back of the card is that if you're going through tag or PSA, it's a different tolerance. So the front, as we talked about, was 10% tolerance. The back of the card is a 30% tolerance for tag. It's a 50% tolerance for PSA. If you do not believe me, go to their website. They actually put it on there. So that's why I know it. With that said, when you look at the left and right, you're subtracting the two numbers, 56 minus 44. Okay, so you got 12% off on the left and right. That's within the tag 30%, which is what I'm using. Top and bottom, 49 minus 51, 2%. Oh, it's negative 2% technically, based on how I said it. But 2% is less than 30%. So with PSA and tag, the back is technically Gem Mint. However, because the front of the card was already outside of that tolerance, even if the back was perfect, it completely negates the centering. The front of the card is more important than the back of the card. So we're going to go ahead and view the grade, and you can actually see here where it's going to tell you it's a 10 for back. Yep, see right there. But BGS, it's not. It's not Black Label, which is really interesting. I want to use BGS sometime, but I just don't have any cards I believe are Black Labeled, and I don't hunt for them. But I'm thinking about starting like a new series on my channel where it's like the Gem Mint hunt or something like that. Don't steal my idea, but I'm specifically going to have like once a week where I go and I look for like the pristine 10s, the Gem Mint 10s, but they're not going to be high like quality cards. They're high value cards. They're going to be lower value cards because I'm just can't afford to do all that all the time. Okay, with that said, we have the card here. We're reviewing this today, and we're not putting an estimated grade yet because we haven't done an evaluation on the entire card, but we are going to leave a comment for that section we just reviewed. So with that said, I'm blanking on where this merging is. There you go. So for centering, we're going to say off by 10% for front centering, not gem it. Back is fine. So that's just a reminder of myself. And the reason I put them in these spreadsheets are because on my channel, I do reviews every week. So by the time I get to editing these videos, this might be like 2 months out when I got the card back. So I already have an estimated grade that I put in here based on my evaluation from these streams or when I do on the back end. But I'm able to reference these notes and go back to my video recording, like, oh yeah, that's right. Like that's why I'm looking at this area of the card is because there's a dot here. So bear with me as we do this together. Okay. So let's go to the overhead camera. Let's check this out here. And we have the Blastoise. Let me pull my microphone up close to my mouth. This is the Blastoise that we were just looking at. We're just going to go ahead and take him out of the sleeve. I don't really think this is going to help much. We're going to leave this sleeve right here. I like to put it underneath the card because it makes it easier to pick up. Especially if you have a nice card, you want to leave it down because you don't want to like hit it with your nail and ding a corner, right? This card is already messed up, so it doesn't matter, but we're going to do it anyways. And I have a microfiber cloth. I'm just wiping it off. I just want to get any debris that might have been on it. Grab the sleeve. Well, let's go ahead and flip it over again. We're going to do the same thing. We're just going to wipe off. Now you can see I'm just going really fast. I'm not trying to dig in there and get anything crazy, but I just wanted to get a clean view for us to look at. All right. So this is the Blastoise. It's hard to see a little bit, but hopefully you can see it okay. Now, we know the centering is off in the front, but the first thing I like to look at is the surface of the card, okay? And what I mean by that is that we're going to look at anything that's not the edge or corners. We're going to start at the top and just kind of work our way down. And I'm going to lean in here so I can get a better view. And right now, what I can tell you that I see pretty easy, hopefully you can see it right there as well, is there's a little dot right on that black part. So let me do like 2 times zoom, see how close you get. Right there. Boom. So we have a little dot in the center of the Blastoise shell. So that's definitely going to impact the score. And it's not something that's like easily come. Oh, actually, that did come off. That did come off. Great. Okay, so apparently I just need to clean it a little bit better. Let's go back to, actually, yeah, let's go back all the way back so you can see a little bit of the card. And if you would like me to zoom in a little bit more, let me know if you're in the chat. That'd be great to know. But yeah, as we go through here, I don't see that, but it looks like that part though that we just got it off of. You see how it's kind of discolored? How it's kind of like a grayish. I don't know if that's like the coloration from the shell or if that's just a little bit of damage. But as we're looking at it, I'm just going up and down. I'm starting over here. I think there's some damage right there on the border. Some damage right here on that one. Nope, that's just dust. Okay. Apparently I just need to clean better. And you can see that centering is really bad right there, right? Not seeing too much else. I'm sure we're going to see a lot when put underneath the microscope. There's definitely a dot right here in this golden area. You can see kind of in the bottom. Let's try to, right there, right in that bottom right. We have a little speck that we popped up. And while we do that, I'm actually going to pull up my sheet on the other screen so I can take notes. So bottom right here. I'm not seeing too much else. But you know, well, what we'll be able to do though is confirm by looking at it underneath the microscope, which we'll do here in a second. I need to figure out my lighting because I think it's a little too bright for you guys to be able to see it clearly. So I apologize for that. The other thing we can do is take our black light. And if I turn off all the lights, let me just turn off my lights around me. There we go. Let's do that. And let's see. I think there's a little something on his eyebrow. Just try to wipe that off real quick. So I think there's something on his eyebrow. And there might be something here on the bottom left. It's kind of hard to see right there on the bottom left. Let's go ahead. Let's turn on the lights again. And what we're going to do, switch over to the microscope. Let me do that real fast. And this is really going to help us out here. So you're probably just getting a black screen at the moment, which is fine. But I'm going to show you the bottom of the card. Move my mic back. And you'll start to see the card. There we go. Boom. And I think we said we had a spec. Let me just look at it real quick. Okay. So this bottom right of that gold box, we saw a little speck. It's really hard to see here, actually. Sorry, I'm just hitting my microphone and messing up everything. I don't really see it, but it's right there. It's right there. You can't see underneath the microscope. What if I play with the lighting a little bit? You can't see as an indentation a little bit. What if I throw a black light? Kind of, you see that dark space right there? It's almost right there. That's where it's at. And you obviously got these miniature sparkles, but that's the one I really care about. Okay, and then I think I saw something on his eyebrow, so let's go ahead and move up all the way over here. Oh, there's his eyeball. And we're just looking for any kind of issues that are obvious on the surface of his face. Okay, I'm not seeing anything in his eyebrow. If anything, that might be it. It's a little dark. You can kind of see that silvering that gets highlighted, and we put it right in the middle of the screen. Right there. That's the thing that I was talking about. All right, so let me pull that back up. I'm just gonna take a look at the card. I'm looking at it on my own. I know you're looking at my microscope still. I don't think that's an actual issue. I think it's just part of his face. Like, I need to look at the actual card and see it. Let's go ahead and do that together real fast. Let me just pull up my screen and me. And we're gonna go back over here. Let's go to collector. Let's pull up Blastoise. 102. And I purposely bought this card for this channel because it's heavily played on TCG Player. So when we look at this card and we zoom in, I'm talking about right here on his eyebrow. And when I'm comparing it to the card, there's a spot right here that's like a gray. And then there's also one like right here. What it looks like is like water spots is the best way I can explain it. Okay. And then I was talking about earlier how this is kind of grayed. This looks just like the card, so I don't think there's actual damage there. And I think there is some internal border damage, but let's go ahead. Let's go back to the microscope. We're gonna go back to that. I want to show you one more thing here. So on the outside of the card, on the border in the pinkish area, let's see if we can look at it right. Oh, that's the edge. No, I mean, obviously we can see that, but you see that black spot. That's not hard to miss, or yeah, not hard to see. There we go. Got some light there for you. That's obvious damage, right? Like that's a black hit to the card. So I'm gonna go ahead on my other side of my screen. I'm just making a note real fast. So I'm gonna do 1, black dot on left's top of border. Okay. We're also going to call out the eyebrows. We're going to say eyebrows, and let me see if I can actually get you a good image of that too, because I know I said this on the cheek and his eyebrows. I don't know if this is it, like this spot, that silver kind of smoky color, but there's one right there. And I think right below the whitening of the cheek. So where am I on this card? Yeah, I can't tell. I can't find where it's at on the actual card. So like can't find a good image for it, but it just looks like water spots. Let me try to pull this up one more time so I can try to get a better view of it because I want you to be able to see it. You see, oh, there we go. You see that little spot right in front of my right thumb? It's really difficult unless you're just like having perfect lighting. But right there, and then on his eyebrow, or his, has a little furrow. I don't see it as well on here, but it's right in front of my thumb again, right there. So those are the two spots that I'm talking about specifically. So we're going to go back to the screen. We're going to make a note because that is something I wanted to call out. So on his eyebrow, he has what looks to be a watermark. And then we're also going to do 3 and say this another watermark like feature on his upper lip. I don't know what to call that. That part, upper lip, maybe. So we got the black dot on the top left border, so we know that's there. We have the watermarks that we called out, and I'm sure there's a lot more surface damage on here that I'm just not seeing super well because of my lighting. I'm looking. Yeah, nothing's super apparent to me. Let me bring you back into the fold here so you can see as well. And then we're gonna go ahead and pull out the black light. Try one more time. See if we can look at this together. Maybe you can see it better than I can. If you see something, call it out. I'd appreciate it. Because if you don't call it out or I don't call it out, Tag is gonna call it out and then I'm gonna be wrong. Yeah, that rest of this surface honestly looks pretty good. The only other thing was like that indentation. And I think that's what it is. I think right here is an indentation. And I know I tried showing that on camera and it didn't show up underneath the microscope. Come on, focus. Or maybe it's just, sorry, I'm like messing with the camera so much. I apologize. It's probably getting you dizzy. Right there in that bottom right, you can see that little, I don't know what else to call it besides an indentation. That's what I think it is. That's what I'm going to call it. Okay. So we're going to go back to screen. Let's pull it up here. Do 4 and put bottom right box, gold box. Let's call it gold box. Bottom right of that box of inside that box. So I'm saying bottom right is the gold box. Bottom right within that box is a small indentation. Okay, so we have that. I'm sure we can find more. There's no way this card is that clean on the surface besides that one spot. I think the surface is okay, honestly, though, for the most part. I think we get the main things that are very apparent. We can flip over to the back as well, but let's just finish up the front. I think we just finish up the front and have fun with it. So we can already see when we're looking at the card on these kind of holographics, it's really difficult to tell, just because of the fact that like the holographic takes over the entire card. And when you have that, it's hard to see any kind of whitening or silvering because all of it's holographic. They all stand out. So what I'd like to do here is get the microscope out, have us both take a look. We're going to do the corners first, just go flip, 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 go to the edges, check those out. So let's do that. Let's go over to the micro. And sorry, just excuse me for 1 second. I'm just trying to get prepared. All right. So let's get that sharpened. I need to get a better microscope too. This is top left of the card. Okay. Nothing horrible. You can see right in the middle of that screen, right on that corner, there is a little bit of whitening there. And as we go up, it looks like those scratches that are going down, it looks like scratches, but I think that's just texturing from the card. And as we look around the card, it does look like the texturing. Otherwise, it could be mistaken for creases. But I think we have whitening right there in the center of the screen. We have possibly right there on the screen again, right in that texture line, it looks like it might be a dot. I'm not sure though. So I'm not going to call that. We're going to call out that one left whitening. So let me do that real fast. So one small speck on top left. All right. Now let's move on. We're going to go all the way real quickly. Oh, sorry. Jeez. Not used to this yet. We're going to go all the way to the right. And it looks pretty good. Looks solid, honestly, right? All right, now let's go down to the bottom right of the card. I get dizzy super easy, so if you get easy or dizzy easy, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm trying to watch my own screen as well. Bottom right of the card. It looks pretty good. Maybe a little bit of chipping right on that corner, so right there in the middle of the screen. A little bit of chip. Maybe two. Maybe three right there. I'm going to say one slight impression is what I'm going to call it. One slight impression on bottom right. Now let's check the bottom left. Let's have fun with that one. Oh, that's clean. That's nice. We got a good one. We got a good left corner. Bottom left corner. Bottom left corner looks great. Okay, so now we've done the corners. We got those few issues there, right? We called out the small speck on the bottom or top left and one impression on the bottom right. We're going to do now the edges on the front, which I'm sure we'll find some stuff because I did just looking at the card with my naked eye. Again, this is probably going to make you dizzy. I'll try to go slow. But yeah, we're on the top left edge, black mark. I don't know. Someone threw a cigarette at it or something. I'm not sure. But we got one black mark on there. You see right in the middle of the screen how there's like a little bit of a divot, like a little bit of whitening. There's another whitening there. A little bit of a fill. So tag, I think, calls these fill. So like if you were to get a line, and this is how I understand it, and I may be wrong. But if you were to get a line and put it straight across the top of the card, and they're supposed to have a perfect edge, if you will. If there's an indentation, like you see right in the middle with this like the line has a texture line there, and then there's like a little bit of a divot that before it goes into it on the edge of the card. That would mean like there's a little bit of card missing. So that would negatively impact the score of like the 1,000 point scale they have. So it might be like a 950 points out of 1,000 for the fill on this side of the card. I think that's how it is. I may be wrong, but we'll see. That could just be texture. Just looking at the card, this texture of the card may not be impacted by that. There, look at that though. You can see an indentation right in that yellow, and that's not part of the texturing. That's another thing to call out. It's hard to see if it's whitening or if it's true holographics. Like that looks like an impression, right? Right into that pinkish area. It's kind of flattening the card down, kind of impacting the edge of it as well. And as we keep moving forward, apologies if you're getting sick watching. That's the top. That's the top. Okay. So I'm going to here. You appreciate the toys and Blastoise while I fill out this sheet real fast. But I'm going to say one black dot on the top edge. Then I'm going to say what we thought was whitening, right, with the texturing. I don't think it's actually going to be counted. Based on my prior experience with the tag, I don't think they're going to count that. I think they're just going to say, hey, that's part of texturing. But it, excuse me, it may impact the fill. And then we had another small, I think, indent or impression that on the top edge. So we were going to call both of those out. And I'm not flipping screens because I think that would just get really annoying for you guys. I apologize if it's something you actually want to see, but just let me know if you do. Okay, now we're going to go on to the right side edge. I think that's fine here. And we're just going to work our way through. There's another black dot. Is that part of the card? Let me look. Hold on. Nope, that's not part of the card. That's just that's an impression what's happening. So like it's pushing into the card. That one is not, but if we go down here, like right there, that's an impression. And I'm trying to see it, show it so you can see it. That's an impression into the card. It looks like someone just took like a miniature human, took a bite out of it, right? So we're gonna say top right has an impression that looks like teeth marks. I'm gonna call that the zombie mark. Trademarked. I'm corny, sorry. Okay, so as we keep going down, not seeing much else, honestly. Trying to, there we go, tighten up the focus a little bit. You can see it's a little bit of an indentation there as well. A little bit there as well. Like I'm kind of nervous to call all these. That looks like an actual issue. That looks like something. Right above. So this is like we're at the bottom right now. So I'll come back and look at that. Okay. So let's go back to the overhead cam. And what we were looking at is like right here. We got to like this part here in the pink. And you can kind of see it. You can kind of see right here. Let me put my finger behind it. Where you can see some gold after that pink. That's because it looks like it's been kind of pressed into. So I think that's what we're seeing here. I'm take another drink real quick. Okay. So I think that's what we're seeing right there. So we're going to notate that though. I'm going to let you appreciate the card from a distance. And we're going to say bottom right has an impression on the pinkish area. Small. I'm gonna say minor. Small still means something that could be big. So minor, then I know it's like it may not even be noticed, like it's microscopic. And usually what I do is I'll say like only noticeable underneath angled light or something like that. And that generally helps me, but I just don't feel like typing that much today. And I'm probably going to regret it later when I actually have to review the card again. All right, now we're going to go ahead and start on the bottom. Look for anything noticeable, like that whitening might be one. So we got one whitening. Couple of impressions again. Hard to tell whether it's texturing or not. I feel like that looks like a small impression, right? Yeah, it just looks like a texturing. It's really hard to tell. I feel like the fill and fray on the card will be impacted though. And I know I'm moving really fast. That looks fine. Okay, so I'm gonna say one white speck. Let me just leave a comment real fast. Small white speck on bottom border. All right. And then last but not least, we're going to do the left side of the card. And you can see how this might take a long time. If I'm doing this on my own, I can do this really fast. The whole card within a matter of minutes, just because I'm not trying to explain it. I'm not trying to show it from the perspective of like, I don't know. It's just different when you live stream. It takes me a lot longer because I'm going slow. That's what I'm saying. Is it takes me longer because I have to go slower so I don't get you sick. Because I would just like fly through these edges and corners underneath the microscope and would not have any problems. And you can see like these two black dots. I don't know if that's part of the card or if that's actually surface damage. So that's something to look into as well. Even though we're not looking at surface right now, that's something good to call out. And I don't see, I think we're coming at the end here. Is that black spot we called out earlier. Nothing super noticeable. Nothing super noticeable there, but I'm going to just look a little bit. Okay, so those black dots are actually part of an error. So we're going to call that out as well. I'm going to go back to my screen and me. Oh, nope, did not mean to do that. There we go. Go back to my screen and me, and we are going to we're going to remove the edge front. We're going to go back to that front surface. Make a note. We're going to say mid left within the pink fire. I don't know. There are microscopic black spots. And the reason I say microscopic in this case, and I really do want to call it out, is because it truly is. Like I would have a hard time seeing that with my bare eyes. I can see it now that I know what I'm looking for. And now I'm just looking just to see if I may have missed it somewhere else, but I don't see it anywhere else. So I think we're good there. I think we're good on the front. So we have the centering, we have the surface front, corners front, and edge front. Front of the card's done. We're good to go. Now let's go ahead and do the overhead again, so you can see that. Still got the sleeve down. Now I don't know if you can see this, but this card is absolutely filthy, which is going to reduce the actual grade of the card, right? So you see how it's like kind of dewy, like a mold. Excuse me, try not to yawn. It's definitely going to impact the grade. So if we had like a kit or something that would allow me to clean it off a little bit, that'd be incredibly nice. It would help out a lot because I don't know why this is like changing the color of. I don't know what my screen's doing or my camera's doing, but it's changing the color of everything I'm looking at. So, okay. But anyways, and then when I flip it to this side, it's going to change it to the right color. Yep. Everything's black and white now. Okay. So I don't know what's happening, and I got to figure that out with my lighting later and try to perfect that. Maybe it's this color is throwing off everything. But yeah, we can see the card. Obviously, we can see some whitening here, here, here. We see some surface damage already on the card down here, and then that dew all the way across, plus just normal scratches all the way around. So the first thing that I'm going to do, I'm bringing it in a little bit closer here for myself, and we're going to start at the top. Because there's so much going on here, it's easy to be overwhelmed. So what I'm going to do is just start at the top and then scan my way from top to left to right and work my way down. So right here, we can see got a little peak right there, a little white spot. So we definitely have something. I'm going to pull up my sheet so I can make comments as I'm doing this. So I'm going to put something there in a second. We also got a little bit of a dot there too on this side here. It looks like there might be some whitening within the white of the swirl of the card as well. The Pokemon sign looks fine. I lied. There's a dot right there in the O. So let's put this down for just a second. Just a second. We're going to say white speck on top left border. So that's 1, right? We're going to say small white speck on top right border. And we're going to say white speck on the second O in Pokemon, which is apparent with the naked eye. And I want to call that out because it is. If we don't call that out, it might be like, okay, it's just another normal white speck right here, right? But it's not just a normal white speck. It's something that you can easily see because it's in a defined area. There's a blue, there's a yellow, there's a black outline on there, and then you have this big white spot. So it's going to impact the grade more than just like this little white speck right here, right? Okay, so as we work our way through, it's kind of going around. Lots of scratches all over the card. We're just going to cover that as one thing and just say like this card has scratches. We're just going to do that. Looks like, oh my gosh, yeah, there's so many smudges all over the card. It looks like there's a little smudge. Don't know if you can see it on the red of the card right here. So there's one. I think, I don't know if it's a smudge or an indentation on the white swirl here as well. And then we have some whitening right here. It's almost on the edge of the card, but it's not quite there. It's still considered surface because it's on that outside border. And then obviously you can see right here, right? You see that how there's a dot there, dot there. So those are both dots that are obviously part of the surface as well. Almost on edge, but not quite. So let's go ahead and put this down again. And we're going to make some comments. We're going to put 4. We had some blemish on the red portion of the Pokeball under angled light, because it's hard to see if you don't have it underneath angled light. Then we're going to go ahead and call out the other stuff. The minor stuff I'm not too concerned about, but I do want to call out how, let's see here. How there's, where was it? Man, I just need to go back and watch myself over again, apparently. So we got this little blemish here that we called out. We have that whitening right here on this board. Oh, in the left border. That's what it was, right here. So bottom left border. So bottom left border, small white speck with a naked eye. 6 is bottom right border with the naked eye. 2 specks. Okay, so that's cool. We have that. And then we'll just, again, we'll leave another comment just saying um, smudges and light scratches throughout the entire surface. And one other thing I do want to call out actually is when we go through here, get the light scratches all the way through. But when I put it underneath the angled light, and it might be really difficult to see for you, but there's definitely like a line on this bottom border. Yeah, so there's an impression. Let me pull up my other screen, excuse me. So there's an impression right here in the blue. I'm trying to get an angle on it so you can see it as well. It can't show you. I guess you're just gonna trust my word. Oh, there we go. Right there, right where my thumb is, my right side. Right there. Really hard to see. It looks like someone's fingernail was just like pressed into it like that. Okay, so we're gonna call that out. Let's go back to the sheet and say fingernail-like impression on the bottom left border. That's definitely going to impact the score. That definitely will. Even though it's on the back, it still will. And in tag grading, we'll see that because they use the, I forgot what that term is called, but they flip it between the different variants of gray colors. So they're definitely going to see it. Excuse me. I'm so tired. I had a long day working, so it's been a long week just in general. So excuse me if I'm tired. I still am trying to do these streams and be on top of it and do my best without checking out. All right, so we have a few things here, right? We have, let me pull up, I'm gonna put my things side by side on the surface so we can kind of look at it together. So for the first thing I said, spec on top left. So what I'm trying to do is that there's a top left right there. So that's the white speck I was talking about on the top left of the card. Very hard to see, but it is more apparent when you're looking at it. There we go. It's a little bit more light, makes it easier to see for you. And then we have small white speck on top right border. So those are edges. That's an edge. That's an edge. Hold on, let me just double check. It's not the edge. Okay, I see it with my naked eye. I'm gonna try. It should be right here, right there. Just very, very minor. And sometimes these really microscopic minor things, they don't even hold against you. But I do want to call that out. And then we have an on the O of Pokemon right there. See? Like that's very obvious, right? When you have those three different colors, you got black, blue, and yellow, and you have this off discoloration that is just impacting it. That's definitely going to take away from the eye appeal of the card. Blemish on the red portion of the Pokeball underneath angled light. Let's see if I can replicate that underneath the microscope. So here's the Pokeball center. Boom. Right? If we go into the red portion, we're looking for something that is not quite right. And hopefully you can see that. I said there was a smudge. And it might be that darkened area, honestly. It might just be something that I don't see very well. But that is a scratch, actually, and the red. So even if we don't call it the smudge, we do need to call it the scratch. And I'm gonna change it from the word smudge to scratch. I put blemish. So I'm gonna say medium scratch. That's what I'm gonna call it. Bottom left border, small white speck that we noticed. Let me go to that portion now so we can see that together. So obviously edge is just messed up, right? There we go. Looks like a pimple that's not ready to pop. Boom, right there. And then bottom right border with the naked eye, 2 specks. Bottom right border, okay. There we go. Right below the edge area. So like this edge, right? But you see right there, there's actually 3. So if I'm like take out that edge, which is right there on the screen, and we just go down, you can see 1, 2, 3, at least 3 whitening spots. But those 2 are the ones that you can see easier, the middle and the right. The left one's a little harder to see. I don't know if I really want to call that one out. Smudges and light scratches throughout the entire surface. I mean, just look at this card. Let's try to find you a good spot to look at. Let me see here. I think I'm just gonna go up to the top left corner and just see if you can see, like, you can see all these scratches, right? Yeah, you can see that. Boom, like all of it, right in that wear. Just needs to be polished up. If it was polished up, all this would go away. It'd be cleaned off, would be good to go. And then we saw the fingernail-like impression on the bottom left border, which I don't think we're going to be able to replicate, honestly. It's right there. I think that's it. Right there. But I'm trying to change the lighting so you can see it. I think you saw it when I showed the entire card, but you just can't see it right now, unfortunately. And that's fair. That's fair. It's going, like, you can see it kind of where that light's bright right in the middle of the screen, and then as you go across, you can kind of see that darkened indentation. It's all like that fingernail impression. Okay. Now, the big thing that we got to do is take a look at the card for corners and edges, and we're going to do that together again. We're going to break it down with corners first. Let's go ahead and scope in on the focus. Oh man. Okay, so you know what a good edge looks like, right? Like the edge of the card is blue. It's supposed to be darker blue potentially, but this, oof, that's just asking for it. That's just full left centering or full left whitening on the card. Okay, it's top right. All whitening on the right. Oh, let me just make sure I get a good image of that so that way for the video later you can see that clearly. And then bottom left, or sorry, bottom right. This one has some fraying on it. So this, what I'm showing on the screen right now, you see how it kind of looks like feathered a little bit? That's what we would call fraying. And then there's whitening. So I'm going to say bottom right actually has some fraying. And then bottom left just has whitening. So what we're going to do, let me put it back on the screen so you can check it out. Screen plus me. We're going to do that real fast so you can see my lovely face. I've been hiding over here. I promise. Just hiding. Corners. We're going to say all 4 corners has I'll say consistent whitening. However, the bottom right has some fraying, which takes over, what would we say, 1/4? Let me go back to the microscope so you can see it too. How much of that does it cover? Is that about half, maybe? Maybe half, maybe 40%. Let's say 40%. Takes over 40%. I'll go 45% of the corner. Okay, so we know the corners are kind of messed up, right? Like that's definitely not good. Now let's go back. Let's do micro again. We're in it already. What's wrong with me? And I'm going to take a drink of Coke. Just bear with me for a second. Oh, and just because I can, I'm going to put you on Be Right Back, even though I'm right here. I just wanted to use that screen because I haven't had the reason to use it yet. Okay, so now we're on the top left edge of the back of the card. So we've already seen the whitening from the corners. Obviously, like the corners is like this spot right here, right? Once you get over and you go like this, you're on the edge, whitening on the left edge. And we're seeing, and usually we would count like each whitened speck, right? And in this case, there's just so much. What we're going to do is basically make a percentage. How much blue do you see? That's the game. Okay, so ton of whitening. There's a bigger one. So there's one big one. That looks like maybe an impression. Two. I'll say two big whitening. But what is that? Hold on. Let's look at that again. I try to just see if I could like knock it off. Yeah, right there it is. Okay, so we got two whitenings, three whitenings with one fray. I say four. So that's probably four. Five. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say 5 night whitening, 1 frayed of those 5. And then light whitening on let's say like I'd say maybe 90% of the edge. And I do want to say that this is the top. Okay, so now let's go ahead and do the bottom, or let's do the right of the card. All right, now we're on to the right. I am corny and weird. Okay, so we have the white. We have one whitening right here. So again, corner, boom, right there. We know that's the corner. This is the edge. One. This one right here is probably your one. We have some whitening, not a ton compared to what we were just looking at. And I'm kind of moving fast here. I apologize if it's a lot. Those are pretty big. So I'd say that's like 2, 3. No fraying, which is good. If you see some like fabric overlapping or something, that's most likely because I'm using the material I'm using to put the card on top of. I think it's velvet. So I think what I'm using. So what did I say? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, that's definitely an 8 with some fray. So 8, 9. Oop. So I would say, so right side has 9 whitening. Was it 2 fray or 1 fray? I think 1 frayed on those 9 with light whitening. I'd say on 40% of the edge. All right, now let's do the bottom of the edge, or bottom edge, sorry. So we're starting on bottom right of the card. We have 1, 2, minor whitening. Oh, 3 with a fray. It's a lot right there. 4 with a, 4 with a fray. So 2 frays. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10. So we're going to say bottom, 10 whitening, 2 frayed. Bad. I would say not bad, but 2 frayed of those 10. Light whitening on 30% of the edge. Okay. Now we're going to do the right. All right. Let's go ahead and check that out. And it looks a lot worse when you're looking at these whitenings under the microscope than you would, obviously, on with your naked eye. Light whitening, nothing crazy so far. Oh, but there is that blemish. Did we call that out? Did I say bottom left? Bottom left surface. This would be bottom left surface. Bottom left border, small white speck with. Yeah, I called that out already. Okay. If I didn't, Catch an image of it. There it is right there. Boom. Looks like a face kind of with a hat. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6, 7, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9. Okay, cool. So we have 9 on the edge. So left, 9 whitening, no frayed. I'd say 10% of the edge. All right. Now, this is probably confusing for your eyes because I'm sharing my screen with OBS right now. Okay, so this is the entirety of the card review. All right, we're going to go ahead and pull the card out from the microscope. Got it right here. We're going to go ahead and take this little guy, put him in the sleeve. Can't get him. I mean, he can definitely get worse, but it's okay. It's all right. It's all right. It's not bad. Now, what we need to figure out, and it's the point of this, is not just to educate for yourself, but I needed to educate myself because, and the reason I picked such a hard card with so many faults on it is because I don't know how this actually comes back as graded. There's people that say these things are heavily played, and I've heard these are considered technically damaged because of how much heavily played they've have been. And I want to know what the resale on is on these kind of things. And I want to know what Tag thinks of these things. So when we look at this in its totality, we have Blastoise here. We're off 10% on centering. So we already know we're automatically at a 9 with centering. On the surface, we have a lot of things we called out. We called out 13 things. Oh, excuse me. I'm tired apparently. It is 8:30. It's not my bedtime, but I haven't been sleeping well lately. So 13 items between the front and back. The back surface being less important than the front. However, I think the back, because of how much stuff is on there, is still important to call out. So if we're saying we're at a 9 on the front surface, we have the black dot on the top of the border. I think that one is pretty, I think that one was easier to see. Still hard to see though, because it's not obvious to the naked eye. Then we got a small white speck on the top right border. Oh, that's the back. We have the watermark on the eyebrow and on the upper lip. Bottom right gold box looks like a small indentation. Mid left with a pink fire, microscopic black spots. So all these things I would consider as minor to the front, but because there are 5 of them, I think it automatically drops it down to an 8. And when I say this an indentation on that small white box, it's just a slight impression is actually what I would say. So I would say that's automatically an 8 just from the front. Now, taking the back. Small white speck, top left border, top border, O. That O one is visible to naked eye. With that, I think that alone puts us in a low 8. Okay, so we're at an 8. We went down to the low 8. Right to about a hit 7. We got smudge. We got moldy kind of smudges, light scratches all over. I'm going to say that's a 7 automatically with that. Fingernail impression on the bottom. I think it's going to drop it a whole grade. I think it's going to be a 6. Then now we're at 6 now. We have corners. Let's do corners, then we'll go to edges. Corners front, not horrible. Slight impression, small speck on the top left. You can't have anything to get a 10 on tag where there's a corner or an impression. So that drops it down to a 9 automatically. So we're at 6, so I'm going to say 5 on this. Okay, so 5 there. Corners on the back have whitening. Corners are very important. I'm gonna still say for all the corners, because they're not indentions, they're not like pushed in or anything like that. I think the corners might go down. I think we're at 5 right now, right? So I think we'll stay at 5. Edges and the front, there's a ton of whitening on the edges. We got a black dot. We got impressions on the front. We can't really tell how the texturing is going to play out when it comes to the front of the card and how that impacts the actual centering, or not centering, sorry. I just read the word centered and I said it. um, how that impression might show up on the texturing and if that will be impacted. But with all the edge, I think that's going to drop it down to, so I would say a 3, but I think that's being too aggressive. I think a 3 is like creases and shit. So excuse my language. It's a bunch of creases and stuff. So let's go down to a 3. Let's read what a very good 3 looks like. The image is centered within tolerance of a 90-10. That's off. The back may show a tiny sliver of border, but may not be a miscut or have a portion of the card displayed. I think we're okay on centering there. Corners, 4 rounded corners. I agree they are 4 rounded corners, bordering on extreme rounding where corners rounding starts to appear outside of the normal corner area. Don't even know what that means. Corner fraying becomes dirty as the underlying stuff has been exposed to a significant amount of time. Significant bends, which starts causing multiple corners to severe surface defects. Don't have that. Heavier wrinkles or creases may be present. Still just one wrinkle spanning horizontally across the card is visible. There may be wrinkle spannings. Okay, we don't have any wrinkling. Edges, all edge defects continue to worsen. Significant fill in. I don't think we're at a 3. I think, let's check back at like a 4.5. Let's check that out. Maybe. There we go. 4.5. Image centered. Okay. Corners is clearly rounded, accompanied by an area of corner surface wear, fraying, or chipping. Multiple corners with bends or dings impacting the corner surface are visible. Minor creases visible, breaking the stock of the front of the card. We don't have that. A crease will usually have a minor impact on the opposite side of the card. A large wrinkle that spans. Okay, so 4s are even hard. This might be a 5. What are we doing here? We don't have multiple small wrinkles. That's the biggest thing for me is like the surface. So this is it. So image is within tolerance of 80-20. That's this one actually is within 80-20. Or sorry, this one's like, yeah. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Keep yawning so much. Just so tired today. So tired today. Wow. Rounding a corner becomes visible. Large areas of corner surface wear chipping are visible. All 4 corners have lost their squareness due to the surface wear dings or fill issues. Excessive fray artifacts visible, distracting multiple corners. What is a wrinkle? Let's look at this real quick. Okay. Glossary. W. Wrinkle. What is that? A bend, full, or raised line on the surface of the card, often caused by mishandling. A wrinkle refers to a less severe version of the defect and can only be seen on one side of the surface, whereas creases are often apparent on both sides. So I think we do have a crease because we called that one out on that bottom border. So let's see. Multiple small wrinkles. We don't have multiple. We just have one. A small wrinkle on the front may be present. Multiple small wrinkles in the back are possible. We don't have any on the front, but very minor corner rounding may be present. A severe bend, slight wrinkle, severe notch on 2 edges. I think we're going to be around a 5.5. It's hard. It's really hard to figure that out. You know what we can do? I'm going to say 5.5 right now. I'm going to take all this. I'm going to copy it. Let's go to chat. Let's see what they have to say. I'm doing a review of a card and using tag grading. Review my notes below and provide a suggested rating. Let's see what it says. This is well documented. My name is Andrew, by the way, if you didn't know. Not Mr. Grade, but that's what I go by. I got 3 major flags: heavy edge whitening and fraying, surface damage on both sides, and indentations or impressions. Centering's an 8.5. Surface is a 5. I agree with that. Corners is a 5. Edges is a 4 to 5. Tag weighting says most likely between a 4.5 to 5. Tag 5. Why not estimate, or why not a 5.5? Your 5.5 is reasonable. if the edge damage was lighter or there was no indentations that existed. Sorry, I thought I heard something. That was weird. So with that said, I think our 5.5 makes sense. I think I'm going to change it to a 5 based off of the information we talked with on ChatGPT, but I think we're in a good spot. So with all that said, I think the review today was interesting. You know, we have a heavily played card that we got off a TCG player just to see how it pairs up with tag grading and what that actually means. Because there's plenty of people that come back and they're like, you know, that's a heavily played card, or it's damage, it's worth this much, or and they'll compare it to like a 1, right? And what I wanted to know, and I've kind of been screwed on this in the past, where I had some really expensive cards, and people were telling me that they were damaged because of certain things, and I just trusted their word because I was new to the card community, and that's actually kind of what put me into this place. Is I wanted to better understand what is it that actually makes it something damaged, what makes something heavily played. Because if you're selling something, whether it's a raw card or not, you want to understand the worth that goes behind it. So I think this is going to come back as a 5. I agree with chat, and we'll see what happens. So if you have watched this all the way through for the last hour and 10 minutes, it looks like we're at right now, I appreciate you staying around for the entirety of this video, joining me on my journey. And I would appreciate it if you left a comment down below. And what grade do you think this card will get? Leave a comment down in the comments down below. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. And this video will be coming out probably in like 6 to 7 weeks, where I actually reveal the actual grade, maybe even longer. So thanks so much for watching this today, joining me with my stream. If you enjoyed it, leave a subscribe and a follow. Check out my other channels. It's all the same content, but I really appreciate the follow on any platform or all the platforms, because it helps me improve myself and get to the next step in my journey for building that Guess That Grade community. All right. Thanks so much again. Enjoy your day. See you next week on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Take care. Peace.